watching Prison Break, maybe. I don't know.
Is Mick in it?
Yeah, he's like on the promo cover and everything.
I saw him in the promo, and I'm like, why did Snart have to get written off if Mick is in it too?
I'm guessing his role was just like really limited, but he was just always an important character, so.
Did you get my text about Blade Trinity last night?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Holy crap! I mean, I knew he was young, but he looks like a completely different person.
Really?
And he's so tiny.
It's been a couple years since I watched it, so.
And even Ryan Reynolds, as bulky as he is, like he's fit, he's small.
Oh, crap. Ryan Reynolds is like the image of perfection in that movie.
Yes. But anyways, we're here to talk about Supergirl and Flash.
Recording, so.
That's fine though. We need to do a movie talk. Old movies, new movies, Power Rangers.
Yes, we did.
So good. I loved it.
And it's just one of those things, like, you know, we talked about the cover of that one comic book where Superman's holding Supergirl, and you want to reverse it. It's just one of those things where it's like, you don't touch it. It's kind of sacred, so.
What he's talking about, since I might put this in there, is when Superman came on to the first 2 episodes of the season, they redid the Supergirl Lives.
Yeah, it's the Crisis of Infinite Earth's cover.
There you go. Where Superman is carrying what looks like a dead Supergirl, completely dead, and he did that in the 2nd episode, I believe, when they're fighting Metallo. Yeah. And I told Jaden that I think since it's Supergirl's show, that it would have been a nice nod.
No.
And still, if they would have switched it and had Supergirl carrying a knocked out Superman.
And I told her that they probably would have burned Burbank and DC Comics headquarters to the ground. So, because it's like one of the most iconic covers. So, So what we're talking about is the cast of Power Rangers wants the Tommy Oliver to be a girl.
Me too.
And I think that's complete heresy. So.
But the difference in Power Rangers and Supergirl is Power Rangers is a reimagining. Supergirl, they are having to change some things, but they are taking straight out of the comics.
But it's still like...
It's a reimagining. It's modern day. It's the same thing as flipping Jimmy Olsen. We had no issue that they made him black. We have the issue that they turned the character completely away from what he is. He's not a nerdy little kid anymore. He's this really fit, suave guy. But I had no issue with them making him black. Why does it change? Why not? Back in the day...
I feel like there's going to be like a lot of butthurt guys out there. Who wanted to be Tommy Oliver when they grew up, and then they're gonna pull this. So,
Tommy Oliver is the green/white Ranger in Power Rangers, who made a cameo in the movie, and I did this to my friend.
Him and Kimberly.
Oh, trust me, I saw Kimberly.
Yeah, my brother was like, my brother was like, "What are you pointing at?" It was just weird because he was always the Green Ranger or White Ranger when we were Power Rangers, playing Power Rangers. And
Kimberly Jo Johnson is or Amy Jo Johnson is Kimberly Hart, the Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into this because I will talk.
I'm sorry, that movie had like a really good opening.
So good, the truck?
It was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
No, before that, where Bryan Cranston's the Red Ranger.
Oh, yes.
And like everyone's dead.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Sure.
But the truck scene was phenomenal. We have to do it. We have to do a discussion, but we have to get into Supergirl and Flash.
All right, Supergirl. So 217, Distant Sun, I think is what it's called. So in this episode, we had a lot of Maggie and Alex because Emily came back into town, Maggie's ex, and we had all of that going on.
We had a lot of Maggie and Alex compared to their normal screen time. Continue.
Yeah. And we also had Rhea and Margand, Mono's parents, and
Kryptonite is back.
Going on. Yeah.
I'm excited. Just last week I was talking about how I never feel like these heroes are going to die. They're never going to be in turmoil or anything. Kryptonite is the only thing that makes me go, oh snap, with Superman and Supergirl. However, it doesn't make any sense that, yes, it makes sense that their planet is littered with kryptonite.
Yeah.
How do they know that kryptonite is going to harm them?
I don't know.
That doesn't make it. Sorry, guys.
I'm assuming while they were in orbit at some point, they were researching Supergirl and they found out, oh!
Right, but what made them take it from their planet's surface?
Unless they had some sort of symbolic, they wanted to kill her with pieces of her planet or something.
Right, something.
And I still have a problem with the entire planet of Daxam actually existing still. Because, yeah. Whether it was the sun or the planet that exploded, Daxam is dust. So
it was the planet that exploded.
Yeah, but still, it's find it hard to believe that they're so close together that there's still something left. But
and even though the issues I have with the fact that they have kryptonite and they knew to make it into a weapon, I love the size. Her Raphael.
I was like the. No.
That's what they're called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they're called. I was just thinking of something else. I thought you said something else. So.
And I loved her in this episode.
Yeah, she was. Terry Hatcher was great. This was, it's like, you can tell I have just as many good notes as bad notes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, because I think like this episode was a lot better in terms of direction, because it was Kevin Smith. He had that Kevin Smith touch. But then there was also things with the writing that made me so angry, like Kevin Sorbo. Everything surrounding Kevin Sorbo made me angry. Not that he was doing a bad job, but it was because...
He had, 10 lines in the 2 episodes he's been on?
Yeah, and then...
You have Kevin Sorbo.
And again, like we talked about before, where he mentioned, my dad was not a good guy. He's like the most understanding person.
I wanted to talk to you about that. So
on the show.
So remember, as kids, we see things differently now that we're adults and we look back. So here's the question. He wasn't a kid when it blew up, which I have something to say about that. But he thinks that his dad is the worst person ever. Was he maybe mistaken that it was his mom and his dad always took the blame? Or has his dad just changed and now his mom is the
I think it's the former rather than the latter. But it still makes me... I still find it hard to believe because I still feel like there would be... I don't know, I still feel like you could... If they'd put more... I don't know, it was just too hard to believe that he was bad in any sense.
Right.
Because he was so good in this episode.
He never raises his voice.
Yeah.
He lets him go back. He tries to tell her to just let it be.
Yep.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
Which tells me that it's more of the writers just being inconsistent. Mm-hmm. And it's that same thing. I'm going to complain about it always because they keep doing it. But it's the same thing with female empowerment where the men are suddenly the worst. Like, he's such a weak character. So they weaken him to prop her up.
Yes.
And that's not how this works. I mean, you can have both be strong characters and still have her be the dominant parent, but they completely abandoned any, attempt to do that. It's just, I don't know, the whole thing was frustrating for me. I mean, because Kevin just looked bored the entire time. Mm-hmm. And it
was a waste of Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah. I felt like maybe they should have just had one of his parents die on the planet, and all these years the other parent had just been by themselves.
On that note, on the writing note, I agree that it's probably inconsistency because obviously they were trying to trick us that he was the prince, and we picked up on it literally the first time he showed the flashback. It's like, well, obviously he's the prince, not the servant.
Yeah.
And so them throwing in that one-off line in the episode when Jeremiah comes back, 2:15, that Kara and Mon-El are talking, and she says, what if your dad walked in here after all these years? He's like, I would run. My dad wasn't a nice guy. That's just them setting us up to the fact that he's the prince. And they're forgetting that down the line.
Yeah.
Or they're changing their mind down the line.
Yeah, and I think it goes all the way down to Guggenheim because he was talking about some stuff like just about the show and what's going on with the end of the season and what's going on next season. And the guy has no idea what's going on. He's like, oh, we have a plan for that. It's like, no, you don't. You obviously do not have a plan for any of this. But whatever. It's a tangent.
Well, we can just jump right into the fact that she kills him, which I saw coming. And I saw on Tumblr someone was like, CW sure does love the whole hug him and kill him thing.
Yeah. It's the whole time, I was done with the episode, so they were just dragging it out longer than it needed to be, so I was just like, what's...
They had 3 ending scenes this episode.
Yeah.
Maggie and Alex could have been an ending scene, then there was Kara and Mon-El, and then we get is it Rhea or Rhea? Rhea and Largon. Right?
And then you have the president...
and then the president and the alien. We had 4 ending scenes in this episode.
Yeah. And so that brings me to one thing. One was, the president was back, but then also it was like, why is this a thing? Because it's obviously not going to be something that I don't think they're going to touch until next season.
Oh, well, yeah, there's 4 episodes left.
So, it's kind of like...
18, 19, 20... 5 episodes? 22?
Yeah.
5 episodes left.
So, the whole time I was just wondering, why did we even introduce the president in this season? Just introduce her later on and use her better.
Actually, I slightly disagree with that. They're either going to keep her for next season, or she is in Legion with Rhea. League? Because she was trying to... What?
League.
Thank you. League.
Legion on the brain, even though we saw Legion in the ring.
Because of the, I saw a preview with Legion. We'll talk later.
Oh, cool.
Anyways, not the show, something else.
Oh.
My brain just went blank. Oh, she's in league with Rhea and the Daxamites because she was trying to get the DEO not to engage. That's what I was thinking. So maybe they're either going to keep the whole president being an alien thing for next season, or she is working with the Daxamites.
I didn't get that. I just... It just seemed like that would be the right thing for any leader to do, was don't engage them and, follow this policy, so...
Yeah, could be.
That's a good theory, too, though.
What kind of alien is she?
She's a Durlan.
Oh.
I'm fairly certain. She doesn't look quite like the comic books, because they always change it, but...
What is that?
He mentions it, actually. Monel mentions it in this episode.
Oh.
Because he's like, I just want to run away. There's a planet called Durlan that we could go to. I'm sorry, my sinuses are killing me. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, he's like, we can run away to this planet called Durlan, and he describes it and everything. There's a bunch of shapeshifters. One of them is a member of the Legion of Superheroes, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what she is. They're orange and they change shape, so.
Alright, what did I see that was Legion?
It was the flight ring. Oh, no. You're...
No.
But yeah, we saw the Legion flight ring in the Fortress of Solitude. They zoomed in on it and held for like a...
What's that?
It's just it's the ring that all the Legionnaires wear. It makes them they can fly. They can change their... It changes their costume, and it's a whole bunch of different things. It's really cool.
Alright then.
Yeah. I want one.
What do we think about the bounty hunters?
That was cool. I liked that.
I like that it was Rhea that put it on and that he didn't know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice twist. I did like that dynamic.
I liked that we talked again about how it's hard to really think that Supergirl's in danger and this stuff. I liked the way they did it. How they sidelined her because, sure, you can keep fighting them, but, it's going to be an onslaught and there's the city to protect and this. Yeah. So he's like, no, sit down. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the episode, was Martian Manhunter was actually fighting. And it looked good.
Yeah. Better than it has, for sure.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate Mon-El, as much as I hate their relationship, I still love Mon-El and Chris Wood, and their fight was adorable.
Yeah. You kind of wondering, like, why don't you just, like, fly over him, or just, like, apparently Kryptonians are so much stronger that, why don't you just knock him out, but
because she was still trying, fun. Well, flying for one, but she was trying not to hit him.
Yeah.
But yes, it was really fun. And then there was a telepathy off.
Yeah, which looked stupid, but was still pretty cool. Because finally he uses what is supposed to be the main ability of Martians. So that
could have been used so many times to help them out, but we're not going to go there again.
Yeah. Ooh, there were some good lines, like when Mono's like, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Yes.
You watch Star Wars.
I knew you would love that.
I love that. Yeah. I feel like there were some more hints for what's going to come. I did like the Man of Steel callback this time. It was just some of the dialogue that Rhea used, like, I crossed an ocean of stars.
Oh, yes.
To see you.
I was wondering if you would like that or not.
Yeah, I like that better because
but that is verbatim what they had of the dialogue. I would hate that more.
It worked better here.
Oh, God.
It just wasn't executed well with the video.
Alright.
The transmatter portal came back.
Yes. And they did a very quick explanation of it, and I love that.
Yeah.
Once again, though,
pretty accurate.
Come on, guys. You can't build Alex up to be this huge badass that always wants to jump in a fight, and she doesn't go with them. As easy as Kara just looks at her and is like, is that still set up to the ship? Yeah, sure. Whoop. I'm like, really? Alex isn't going to suit up and go fight if Wynn is there?
Yeah. It didn't cross my mind, but now that
that's just me because she's my favorite character, even before the whole lesbian thing. It's just so funny when they don't have her fighting because she literally was in every single fight in the first season. Like every chance there was, Alex was suited up.
Yeah.
So.
So one of the things I really liked besides the Martian Manhunter fight was some of the dialogue with Kevin Sorbo and Terry Hatcher with Mon-El. They had a great line, where your parents will always come for you when you call, even to places that we disagree with.
Yep.
So I really like that whole bar scene was really good. Him defending his job.
I'm a mixologist.
Which was both funny, but it was also, you could tell he was actually being quite serious about it too.
Yep. It's better than beating up poor little Brian.
Yeah.
I liked that, he agrees to go with her, and then she says, I'm going to lock you up for the next 4 years, and maybe you'll be happy by then. Yeah. And at least he does say, we're going to make some changes on Daxam, and she's against it. It's still not a very good thing that he would rather stay with a girl than go be a prince and make the changes that could be made.
Yeah. But, like I said last week, it's a pretty big job. Yeah. And it's not something I'd want to handle. That's
what I'm saying, though. Like, even if he's not choosing a girl, it's like he's just shirking his responsibilities. He's running from the challenge.
But he did ultimately hand himself over. So.
Yeah. Why did he hand himself over?
To protect her.
To save her life.
But it works both ways, I guess. It can be argued, I guess.
Anything else that was really good in this episode? I had a couple quotes, but I can't remember any of them now. My brain is fried.
I did like I completely forgot that it would have taken them years to get there. Mm-hmm. Which is another callback to Man of Steel.
That's what I want to say. Mon-El was a grown-ass man when he went into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Kara was 12. It's a little weird.
Oh, you mean like the age difference?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, the science works on that.
It's a little weird when you think of it that way.
I don't think anything of it really.
I think I put it on my Tumblr, like that randomly popped into my head, and I said I had a thought that I don't want to have, so now I'm giving it to all of you or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, he's supposed to be 27, 28, however old he is now. But when he got knocked into the Phantom Zone with Kara, he was that age. He was grown, and she was 12.
Well, I mean, she grew up, so.
Right, they do, but it's still weird when you think of it in that sense.
I don't see it. I don't know. So it is something else that we need to talk about, but.
Well, we need to talk about Sandverse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the other entire half of the episode.
Well, I meant like in this stuff.
But I was just thinking that one of the first thoughts I had when I started watching this episode was, it'd be really cool if the writers for Stargate got hold of this. Because it's kind of like in the same vein in some ways. And I don't know, Stargate just does it so well. The things that they try to accomplish the same things, like making statements and all that, but like somehow Stargate just made it so much better. So I think
every TV show, especially when there's a hero involved, tries to make a statement or tries to tackle issues. Some are more heavy-handed, like you have Seventh Heaven type shows that were all about morals and teaching you a lesson, and then you get, the Sins episode of Arrow, or the Guns episode of Arrow. Sins! Well, and we got more Game of Thrones than Arrow this week. Yeah, we got a straight-up Game of Thrones reference. Yeah. There was an atone. Anyways, we'll get there. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like I was saying, just somehow, I don't know, Stargate I think they just have better writing. But you'd have like actual debates about issues of like slavery and all of that, and it worked out really well, and it was very engaging. Somehow this just doesn't hit that note for me. But anyways, take it away.
My good old Sandverse.
Yep.
First off, that opening scene with their awkwardness, amazing. I'm still cringing. Like, I immediately just went like this. They did so well.
It felt very real.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. Adorable. I love them together. I really, really do. Real quick, Supergirl was nominated for a GLAAD Award, Gay and Lesbian Media Award.
Oh.
Yeah, GLAAD Award, for Best Outstanding, or Most Outstanding Drama or something. I don't remember, I apologize. Kyler Lee and Floriana Lima attended together and they looked phenomenal. And they did a bunch of interviews and Kyler is trying to kill all of the lesbians. She wore basically like a suit, like a corset, and she looked gorgeous. They both look gorgeous. Supergirl didn't win. We didn't win.
We didn't win.
Malik won from Shadowhunters.
Oh.
Isn't that the ABC Family or Freeform for, what's that book? Immortals. No.
Something Instruments.
The Immortal Instruments?
No, that's an Iron Fist comic book. A very good one. An amazing one.
What is the name of that movie? I know, I saw it. I saw The City of Bones.
Is it Immortal Instruments?
I think it's either Immortal Instruments or Immortal Instruments or...
I want to say Immortal.
Apologize.
Because it's so terrible that I want to distance it from Iron Fist.
But it's a freeform show that I actually tried to watch because I really liked the movie.
Who was directing?
It was awful.
Yeah.
The acting is terrible.
I hear nothing but... Which is weird because one of them, I think, in the that you mentioned in the gay relationship, what's his name?
I don't know.
He's the brother of Alexandra Daddario.
Don't know who that is.
Oh, if you saw her, you would know her.
Okay.
She's very... Yeah.
She's very good looking, so I would know her.
She's very good looking, and she's in a lot of stuff now, so...
Okay.
Anyways, where were we going with this?
Yeah, we can get back to that. So anyway, so they won. They didn't win, but it was awesome that Supergirl got nominated because they have done really well with the coming out storyline for the most part. But they made a good point in one of their interviews that you don't get a lot of representation, and when you do, because these are drama TV shows, but we don't get a lot of healthy relationships. They are always in turmoil, always fighting for something. And even when they've had their two little fights, their two or three little arguments or whatever, it's still the healthiest relationship I've seen on TV in a while.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it is, yeah.
And so Kyler Lee did most of the interviews, and she brings it up, and the fact that she says lesbian relationship is huge too, because a lot of times they don't use that word. And it just makes a difference.
You don't?
And no, they don't use that word.
Oh.
Just like we talked about how they don't use bisexual and this sort of thing. But it's just nice to know that the actresses understand, you know, we argue that we want more screen time, and we do, and we talk about it too. We want more Maggie. Like, give us more of her backstory. But it's a very well done background relationship so far. It doesn't have to be so heavy-handed. So let's jump into it. The opening scene, amazing. Kyler Lee did a great job of just being there, and she was like looking between them, and are you gonna introduce me? And then Floriana Lima has great, I've learned a new word here, all these reviews I've been reading, micro expressions. Yeah. She does a really good job with that. You can see so much in just like a little, I don't know if it's a conscious thing that she does or what.
Yeah, it's always, that's like something that I actively watch for.
Oh, I do now.
Like, I rewatch movies just to watch that. And it's always fun to see. And it's always weird because it's either like scary how much control someone has over their body, or it's like there's no way that they're doing that
on purpose.
Yeah, so it's always fun to try and determine which it is. So.
Oh, well, are they doing it as a conscious decision for their character, or is that just something she would do if she were having that dialogue? Because when I have done some acting in like high school and stuff, I always just played it kind of how I would play it in my real life, sort of thing. I don't know, but so I really loved all of their scenes actually. And when I first watched it, I was pissed off because they made Maggie a cheater. And they're also giving us her backstory without giving us anything outside of her damn relationship. Still. Yeah. However, since reading a whole bunch of things and looking at this, they don't tell us when they were together. They don't tell us how old they were. No, they were together for 5 years, and it's been a lot of years since they saw each other. They don't tell us how old they were when they were together. They just told us how long. So yes, I don't like cheating, I don't like cheaters and such. However, I know that we change. And, you know, let's say that they were together from 18 to 23, and she's 35 now.
It made sense to me.
What, that she was a cheater then? And she does, it's not like she just blew it off. A lot of people were all mad that she lied, and they're, you know, the whole Carmel Sanders ship war that's going on. She doesn't lie. She never once said, Emily broke up with me. She never, and when you get with somebody, you don't tell them every little detail about your past.
But it was more of like...
It was an omission.
Yeah, it was an omission, and she kind of turned it towards, like, to make it seem like it wasn't on her.
Right. Well, when she tells Alex, you know, she said a lot of things that cut me deep. Yeah. She definitely leaves out the fact that maybe it was in
that
anger.
Those things were earned.
Right. Exactly. Agreed. But she doesn't outright lie about something that is still current in her life, like the fact that he is the Prince of Daxam. That's all I'm saying on that ship war. Anyways, but the whole backstory thing, they're still giving us some Maggie stuff, and I really loved the scene with Alex on the couch when she calls her out and says, you don't like to talk about you, and I think that when your parents kicked you, didn't accept you, that it's caused you. So we did learn a lot about Maggie.
So that actually made me laugh because it was ridiculous, because it was like all of a sudden she was a therapist.
She has a degree in...
biology.
No, don't you remember? She has a degree in...
It's not therapy.
Body language and other things that would it's not psychology, but it's a type of.
It came off as being as she was like a psych major. It was really like
maybe she was a psych minor.
I mean, if you listen to it, it's like stuff that you would listen to, like
right,
a therapist would talk to you about.
But you have to remember, I have watched these scenes so many more times than you.
But yeah, that.
But she does say when in the first season when Adam and Kara are flirting and Kara's like, when Wynn kisses Kara and Kara's like, you knew? She goes, I have a degree in this and this and this, and it's all about reading people and this and so. Anyways,
saw problems with that because apparently she was a drunk for a while. But anyways, continue.
Right, exactly.
Continue.
You can be a partier without being an alcoholic. Alex Danvers is not an alcoholic.
I thought
Fandom,
she was.
Stop it.
I thought she was.
Well, she was partying far too hard.
It seemed like she
had a problem, dropped out of school. Yeah, she had a problem because she dropped out of school and was just getting drunk all the time. That doesn't make you an alcoholic.
My point is, she's not Bruce Wayne.
My point is, fandom, she's not an alcoholic.
Different degrees.
Why not?
She's not Batman. She's not old enough to have that many degrees.
Neither is Bruce Wayne.
But he's like the second smartest person on the earth. So.
How do you know she's not one of them?
She's clearly not.
Why?
She's not.
Why?
She's not.
Why?
Because then she would be like Batman. She'd be Batwoman, I guess.
She didn't have the tragedy that Batman had that make her want to be a vigilante.
Her dad died, or...
Yeah, what?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Continue. I don't believe it.
I love this scene on the couch because they gave us a little bit of Maggie as a person. Yes, I still need her backstory. I still need her to have her own stories. Quit giving them all to Mon-El, maybe.
Yeah. She's still not a character. She's
a girlfriend.
It was... Yeah, I mean... Everything, like you said, everything that we got from her backstory was revolving around her relationship or whatever. We still don't know where she's been for most of her life or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Apparently she's been in National City for a long time.
Oh, really?
Well, because she says to Emily, you're back. So that means that they dated in National City, and it's been a lot of years.
I feel bad for Emily. Just like...
it sucks to get cheated on.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, but all of a sudden your ex-girlfriend's girlfriend is all of a sudden up in your business and...
It's so very Alex. I didn't like that she did it, but it's very Alex.
It's one of the things that I hate about the Danvers sisters is that they insert themselves into people's lives, and none of it made sense. I mean, it ended well somehow. Because if that situation were to happen, there's no way it would end well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I don't know. Lesbians process. They got that right. The writers got the whole talking out and friends with your ex and processing things very right. So in the lesbian world, that definitely could work out.
Maybe. I don't know, but
it sucks.
But yeah, it was because it's the direction was better. Like I said, the direction was better. Some of the writing has been better. Like I've mentioned before, Kara and Alex haven't seemed like themselves for a while.
No.
Like the same characters, but they've finally gotten back to that.
Slowly, not fully.
Yeah, not fully, but it's
within the last couple episodes.
So I liked that. All that was better, but the whole her inviting her ex out of the blue. She knows nothing about this ex, by the way. Well, so she invites her to dinner. But that was messed up.
It was, but she says it at dinner, which I was really happy they put that little tidbit in, because I'm like, don't do that. Don't invite her to dinner.
Yeah. But then I went back to hating it because then she goes and it's none of it makes sense.
But it makes sense for Alex.
It does.
As people, we would not do that. I'm not gonna go. I don't need to stick up with my girlfriend. She doesn't want to show up. But with Alex, it totally makes sense that she would insert herself.
But that goes to the thing where Maggie. It wasn't about building up Maggie's character. It was about building up Alex's character and show how cool she is with everything.
Exactly.
Which is total BS. So.
Exactly. Maybe if they weren't using Mon-El as the season character plot.
Well, I'd have no problem with it if you used him well from the beginning to now.
That's what I'm saying. Well, but it's an ensemble cast and it's also Supergirl.
But yeah,
it's not Mon-El.
But before at the beginning of the season, it was all Alex.
I know.
It was an overbalance of Alex. So.
Which is what we've talked about. We said they've just not been great with. It's been very disjointed. I loved all the Sandverse scenes this episode. However, it didn't fit.
No.
Why do we need... Just like the wind stuff, it's just very weird.
It's like they got 2 different episodes that... Written 2 different episodes, and then okay, we have to ditch one of these because we don't have that many in the season. And then they just put them together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm not looking forward to the rest of the season. Just because we flip-flopped with what villains are... Who's the main villain and who's not the main villain, and these different storylines.
Well, we haven't had a main villain the whole freaking season.
Yeah, so it's just that's why I dread it. I mean, I had fun watching this episode.
Yeah, it was not bad. I didn't love it. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. I can't believe we have to wait 3 weeks, and I still hope that Alex gets kidnapped. Spoiler alert: that Alex gets kidnapped sometime in 218. So then I get angst. Apparently Maggie's not in 218. I don't know. I don't know where the fandom gets all this stuff at. She's on for 20 episodes, and she's already missed 2 episodes. So I don't know how she would not be in
Probably
it.
IMDb, which is always wrong.
Right. IMDb is which has 20 episodes.
I do have one glaring issue.
We'll go fast.
One was the kryptonite, because suddenly when they needed it to, being in close proximity to it, poisoned her. Then when she's fighting in the fortress, it does nothing.
Yep.
And then Daxamites. Okay. So
wait, in the fortress? In the fortress, it makes her sick. In the spaceship, when she's fighting it, when she saves Jean.
In the spaceship is when she's starting to get sick.
No, in the fortress, when she's talking to Mon-El, and before she presents the kryptonite, she starts to get sick.
Okay, but the whole thing is that... I agree with that.
Inconsistency.
Yeah. Suddenly it just starts to work. And then Daxamites in general. They've only dropped the lead poisoning weakness once, I think. And they didn't drop it again this episode, so... Which would have been nice... to say oh, this is a lead dagger, and she just killed him with it, killed Largan with it, because it just looked like a normal dagger. So, which also goes to the thing where I don't know what's happening with Daxamites and their powers, because his parents show up and they have the whole scene where Kevin Sorbo's going, "Oh, I feel powerful," and everything, and then they don't have powers all of a sudden, or it doesn't seem like they have powers. Did they show anything concerning powers, or?
Well, I mean, they're fighting with Martian Manhunter, and then she threw Supergirl across the room.
But that goes with I missed the throwing Supergirl across the room.
They only fought other superheroed.
But that goes to the problem with the way they do fights is that it looks like normal humans fighting, whereas in Smallville where they would have Clark fighting another Kryptonian, each punch would rock
both,
and the actual ground underneath them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
so maybe they just need to do better with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of Smallville real quick, I just found out there's a Cat Grant on Smallville. So.
She's terrible.
So.
She's the worst.
Alright, but we are running out of time, so let's jump into Flash. I liked this episode.
I did too.
However, within 2 seconds they make a damn Hamilton reference. Just, nobody cares. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
I'm getting up. Yeah.
I said, oh my god, with Hamilton.
Yeah. I had low expectations for this episode because
I have low expectations for every episode.
Oh. Well,
so maybe that's why I enjoyed this one.
Because Abracadabra is one of those throwaway villains where they open up a scene in the comic book and he gets punched in the face and and then it's off with Abracadabra.
What pisses me off about Abracadabra is I understand he's from far in the future or whatever, but what kind of tech can do that?
Like they said, it was nanites and stuff like that. It's always, at least in the comic book, he's actually become more of a formidable villain in the last couple months, actually. But he uses a wand and everything, and it's more, you can tell more of how it would be technology instead of all of a sudden teleporting things into different places.
Yeah, it was very weird for me, but
yeah, I had low expectations as well because I've seen this actor recently on Gotham, and he was one of the worst TV performances I've ever seen. Like, he was atrocious. But he was actually really good as Abracadabra.
I liked him.
He wasn't over the top or anything, which I enjoyed.
From the previews, I was kind of...
Yeah.
But he did well throughout the episode.
Yeah, yeah, I have very few negatives about this episode.
Shocker.
It just wasn't... I was just really pulled into it, so...
Why does Gypsy get him? Just because she's hunting him and all this stuff? They caught him. Why do they have to hand him over to Gypsy at all?
Because he's from her...
He's not from her Earth. He just committed crimes there.
I think it's just a jurisdiction sort of thing. Like, just like in the real world, if someone had murdered someone in Chicago and then ran away to some other state, they would extradite him back to Chicago or whatever.
Well, but you don't have to. Not all states have extradition.
Yeah, but... It
just bugs me that
these people are cops.
Simply because Gypsy is there, they have to turn him over.
I mean, there's also the personal connection that she had with him.
Yeah.
That was more than...
Cisco needs to lay off. He is coming off a little rapey.
So that was one of my notes. Yeah. But the thing is, if it was anyone but Carlos Valdez, it would come off as super rapey. But he somehow manages to put just enough charm into it where it kind of saves it. It just barely saves it. Not entirely.
Yeah,
it's
not
still really
horrible, but it definitely had me cringing several times.
It was, yeah.
It's like, Cisco, back off for a second, buddy.
Yeah, that was actually one of my positives, though. He said it was amusing me. So.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I'll write it back in.
All I can think of is there's some really great explosions. There's some great effects in this episode. The cards, like when they he uses all the cards to with
the slow motion and Flash.
Yeah, it looked really good. Somehow they really...
The last 2 or 3 episodes, their slow motion has been very good. It hasn't been so horrible like in Gorilla City.
Yeah. But there were some really good explosions where I was like, oh wow, actually looked really real, and yeah. Cisco had a line, "Gypsy darling, come back" or something. That made me laugh really hard.
Oh Cisco. Alright, here's my issue with the whole Abracadabra knows who Savitar is and blah blah blah. So, I mean, we want our heroes to be honorable for one. So yes, they should stick with their honor that they'll let him go. So why don't you just find out who he is, verify the identity, and then be like, okay, you're free, and then Gypsy's right there to capture him.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as they were doing that.
Because they held his word, they let him go. Also, they were talking about why did I write first speedster? We already know this, Avatar's the first speedster. Yeah. Anyways. Which doesn't make any sense if he's from the future.
No, but he's been around since before, like thousands of years or something. I don't know if he was like in hibernation or something, or there's something like a Back to the Future thing where he's from the future and then he got sent back to the past. It's not that hard. See, look. You have the present, and then you have the future. He's in the future. He comes back. He goes into the past.
That part is easy. Yeah, it's all the other crap that they do.
Yeah, they make it kind of difficult.
Yes. The dialogue in this was very repetitive.
Oh.
You're gonna die. You're gonna be put to death. They're gonna kill me. You're gonna die.
Arrow is the repetitive one. We'll get to that.
Yes. But it was very repetitive. I wrote die, put to death, die, dead.
Yeah. Jesse L. Martin was really good.
Yes.
He kills it every time.
He was very good. And I really liked that he was the one that was going to let him go. But again, and we're going to talk about this in Legends, I don't know if it's editing or if it's directing or what it is, but their pauses are too long. Things that are supposed to happen quickly, like, I'll just jump. The best example I can give you is when Reverse Flash is holding the spear over the dam.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, but Jesse L. Martin's character, what is his name?
Joe.
Thank you, Joe. when he's holding the gun to him, and it was so dragged out.
Yeah.
That it kind of, I was just like, this, you're gonna get caught, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, Cisco's "You shall not pass."
Yes.
That was great.
Yep.
It was amazing.
He was, "You shut up!" I rolled my eyes, but it was pretty funny.
It was great. So one of my positives was part of my negatives. So the whole Barry phasing through the ship was really cool. It all looked really cool. I didn't expect that to be the resolution, where he catches Abracadabra at the end. Where he runs across the building and then he jumps and then he phases through, grabs him, and then phases out of the ship.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
That was really cool.
Yes, it was well done.
But then, before that, I was shouting at the screen because they're doing surgery on Caitlin and she's doing it by herself. Or
she's telling Julian.
She's telling Julian, which is stupid. But then you have two speedsters standing right there going, "What do we do? What do we do?" It's like, phase your hand
and take it out.
And take out the shrapnel.
It's too easy. It's too easy. Well, they had a lot of foreshadowing in this episode too. The biggest one is the Frost headline came back up, and immediately as soon as they pointed to the Frost headline not happening, I was like, well, we know what's happening this episode. Yeah. Killer Frost is coming back, and sure enough.
That's stupid. It looked so weird when she came out with like her wig and she's like full Killer Frost. Like it would have been fine if she just like had the eyes, different eyes, and she comes out and she's a little bit more pale, but she was like, all of a sudden just like full Killer Frost.
That's what they always do. Alright, let's just jump into that real quick because I'm so sick of the trauma being what gets these couples back together after one frickin' episode.
Yeah.
The only one that's done it well is the Sandverse storyline, because they had 3 or 4 episodes where they slowly were trying to be friends again, and then Maggie gets shot by Cyborg Superman, and yeah, it's trauma, but it doesn't happen right then and there.
Yeah, I was groaning because I knew it was going to be, someone they love got hurt, and so that snaps them out of it. Which I kind of give leeway because that is a real thing. That's a real thing.
It does make you see things, but do we literally need it on every single couple?
Yeah, it is frustrating when you're seeing it on TV.
And it's 2 episodes back to back because we had Love's Kiss or whatever before. So it's 3 episodes, or 3 couples. I love how British Malfoy is.
He's so great.
But he's like, oh, terribly sorry.
Yeah. He was the other one that I thought him and Jesse L. Martin really killed in this episode.
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal. I already called it as soon as the Frost headline came on, and then they saved her through the surgery. I already knew. I was like, well, obviously she's gonna go under somehow, and I was really happy that it was Malfoy's character. What is his name?
Julian.
I just call him Malfoy, guys. It's not because I don't like his character.
Because that's who he is.
He is. He's
it's just like how
Malfoy.
Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter.
Yes. So Julian is the one who takes the necklace off. I loved that. I loved that Cisco even said, because at first, as soon as she started the code, I thought, if they yank that necklace off, this isn't what she wanted. I wanted one or all of the characters to, as much as I like Caitlin Snow, to let her die. Yep. That's what she wanted. And Cisco did.
Yeah.
And that scene was very well done, very well acted.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it ripped my heart out. And then when Julian yanks the necklace off and he's pleading or yelling why he did it and this. But here's my thing. Once she's healed, why can't they put the necklace back on her?
Yeah. That was...
Why couldn't they just hover right there and as soon as she got healed, throw it back on?
As soon as you saw the frost going over her wounds, put it back on.
Put it back.
Yeah, probably enough that she was out of the woods, but whatever.
It wouldn't give us a storyline.
What problem I have?
Oh my god. Sorry. What if Alex is gay because of Flashpoint?
Oh, it works! It works! It works so well!
Oh my god!
Please make that a thing. Please make that happen.
Not saying that she wasn't gay all along, but, what if Barry's Flashpoint goes to the other Earth?
It works, though.
And that's why she realized that she's been gay all along.
That would fix all my problems with that storyline. Wow.
I was like, wait, why is she Killer Frost? And it popped in my head, and then there went that line.
Yeah.
The whole damn it, Barry. Anyways.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So maybe in our headcanon it will be. Alright, we are running out of time.
Have you seen those memes where it shows Ezra Miller during the whole thing where he's in the trailer praying or whatever he's doing? And it's like...
Who's Ezra Miller?
Who's playing the Flash in the movies.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, dear Lord, please forgive me for all these timelines I'm about to F.
Truth. Alright, anyway, you were saying.
Barry keeps track of how his wins. Because he has the whole thing where like, we earned this, and we've done all this, so why can't I just have this win? It came up very petty to me.
He is very petty.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how they've written him here lately, since I've been watching. While we're on Barry, so where are we?
Ooh, stop mentioning Cord Industries. They did it.
What's that?
So they've mentioned it in Arrow and Flash this week. But it's something that they've done since like I think season.
I mean, I've heard it, but what is it again?
Ted Cord is the Blue Beetle, who's
yes, we've talked
really
about
famous.
that.
Yeah, he's a really famous superhero in the comic books.
He's not the Tick.
No, he looks like him though.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's such. It's. I don't think they can put him on the show because they're doing. They're doing. I think Guggenheim's writing a movie, or Berlanti is writing, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle movie or something. So I don't think they're ever going to put him in the show. But it's like, stop teasing him. It's driving me nuts.
Maybe they're doing that in case they can.
I mean, mention him, the person. Just stop throwing in Cord. Yeah, just stop throwing in Cord.
What's up with this time vault?
What do you mean?
That the abracadabra guy goes and steals something from. What's the time vault?
Okay, so when Wells was Thawne, when Thawne was Wells, I guess, that was where he kept his suit, and that's where he kept track of the timeline and everything. Basically, that's where all of his, like, he stored all the speed that he was collecting from Barry or whatever. Do
they not have it inventoried? Because when he takes something, they go, what did he take? You would think that they should inventory that, maybe.
It feels like whenever they want to, they introduce some new item that's in there.
Yeah.
When originally it was just his suit, his ring,
but now it's
the device.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's where Gideon came from. That's the room. She's created by Barry in the future, and she was Thawne's assistant. So that's where he go in and talk to her. I
wrote something was lame, but I have no idea what it was. And then Barry's going to the future.
Yep. Oh, it's another great Cisco line. Maybe you can fix my broken heart.
Yeah. I love Cisco and Gypsy's dynamic right now.
They're great.
I really enjoyed Barry's speech to Abracadabra, actually, when he's all trying to tell him to be a good guy and telling me who he is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good speech.
Yeah. I didn't think there was any way he was going to fly.
Oh, absolutely not.
It was a great speech. Again, I really liked the guy who played Abracadabra. I really had the lowest of expectations for him, and he
did a good job, and that's probably why you liked him so much.
Oh, they may have mentioned next season's main villain. So the Abracadabra.
It's not a speedster.
Yeah, which goes along with this. Abracadabra says something about his greatest villains being Zoom, Thawne, Savitar, and then he says DeVoe. And DeVoe is a guy who, in the comic books, his name is the Thinker. And he can take over people's bodies with technology and stuff. And
I just assumed that was a villain I didn't know.
No, I was like, who the heck is DeVoe? Because I didn't know him by his real name. But I looked it up, and
there you go.
Apparently they've already started writing articles about it. So.
So what about Barry going?
Future Barry.
Yep. What about Barry going to the future first before you get to the preview?
I liked the way that he said it. Like, every villain that I've faced has always had the future on their side.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I just wrote future, duh. That's all I wrote for my notes.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting. I love when that's the one thing about time traveling in shows that I enjoy, is when you get a glimpse of their future or their past, but...
Except when it looks like this.
Well, yeah, so if you've seen the preview, he showed me a picture of it. We have Emo Barry.
Yeah. Someone put a picture of him next to Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. And they look...
That's Brother, is that you?
And that's exactly what came to my mind when I saw him. Because I just watched it like right before we did this. That's exactly what came to mind was... Emo Peter? He looks terrible.
Funny thing is why haven't they just done it already? Because it's such that plot device that You don't know who Savitar is. He kills Iris. You can't stop him. Go to the future and ask your future self.
Or ask back. Gideon. Someone wrote that.
Or ask Gideon. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Alright, what else you got? Because we are running out of time.
The new Flash suit. The new Flash suit. The future Flash suit. I'm not sure if it looks better or worse. Because I look at it, sometimes I look at it and it's like, oh, this looks like bad cosplay. But they try to add more stuff to it.
Yeah.
But then I look at it, and because someone wrote down all the things that are different about it, like how it's padding and...
Yeah, because he looks thicker.
Gold. Yeah.
But you said it was padding.
I just still... Dude, just lift some weights. It drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. Because Ezra Miller did it, and he was even skinnier than Grant Gustin, and now he looks great. Yeah. Seriously, you should see the side-by-side shots. But yeah, whatever, I'm not going to complain. They fixed his giraffe neck. Because, if you notice, Grant Gustin has the longest neck.
He has a very long neck.
And in the costume, it looks even worse. So, like,
I'm going to notice this.
They raised the collar a little bit, so it doesn't look like that. He doesn't have an egghead anymore. But I guess it looks okay. It looks like a cool episode while he's in the wheelchair.
Oh.
So.
And again, 3 weeks. Whatever.
I can wait.
By the way, apparently from what I'm reading, the Bat family is off limits. I'm still upset that Maggie's ex was nobody.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna be Manhunter.
Right, you said that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But now I'm suddenly remembering her name was something Spencer.
Well, but they've changed names
Spencer.
before.
But yeah.
Maybe they'll give us something in the future in season 3 with Maggie. You can only hope. Once Mon-El is gone, either dead or off the episode.
Or maybe he's become a hero with the Legion.
Maybe, like I said, or off the show, or maybe he's more of a character that's just there now, not getting every freaking story.
Yeah.
I don't think P.S. If you care, they are officially together in real life.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna kill him. So.
He's the only one I haven't heard if they signed on for more than 1 season or not. But I also haven't looked because I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, first two episodes a week were good. I enjoyed them. Yeah. Flash kept me invested pretty much. Anything else? Go watch Power Rangers. Yeah. It's really good.
It was hard to watch these shows knowing that Justice League is coming after watching those trailers. So.
All right. Yeah. By the way, we're Nerd Jams. We didn't start with that, but you should know us by now if you actually watch this. I'm Shannon.
I'm Jaden.
And we'll see you next time.